Shalom. All praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Achakodash. Double honors to the apostles of GMS that give us his truth and all his purity, and salutations to all you occupation this word throughout the four corners of the earth. This is your brother Yahweh Sab, and this lesson will be going into the topic of World War III, which we're in the beginning of World War III. And as the apostles have always said for decades, World War III will start between Israel and Iran. That's something they've always said, they've always maintained, and we've seen it come into fruition. And this is how we know that the apostles, the elders in GMS as a whole, have the 100% truth. Because no other camps were saying this. ISUPK wasn't saying that. IUIC wasn't saying that. No other camps were saying this, man. IUIC called us conspiracy nuts. You have Israelites that called us fearmongers, for bringing out the last day prophecies. But now look, Israel is getting ready to strike Iran. Do you understand what that means? Well, clearly you don't. But what that means is World War III. Iran is backed by Russia and China. So a strike on Iran would mean a strike on Russia. Just like you have NATO's Article 5, where one member get attacked, all of them get attacked. So Russia and Iran, they have the same kind of treaty. They signed a treaty between one another, to help each other militarily, man. Russia is helping Iran with nuclear technology, with missiles and other technologies, as well as China. So World War III is around the corner, man. And the apostles, they've been saying this. Go look up all the old videos of the apostles, man. They've been maintaining that, even in the midst of other wars going on, wars and rumors of wars. The Ukraine war, while it was happening, when it first happened, the apostles always said, that's cool and all that, but keep your eyes on the Middle East, because World War III is going to start between Iran and Israel. And now look, man, right? This is Jeremiah chapter 49. Verse, I'm going to start at 14. It says, I have heard a rumor from the Lord, and an ambassador is sent unto the heathen, saying, gather ye together and come against her and rise up to the battle. So the her is speaking about Babylon the Great and Esau, Edom, the so-called white race, So the heathens, the other nations, they're gathering together. Iran is gathering itself together. The Arab countries, the Arab armies, they're gathering together. You got China, they're gathering together. All these different nations are prepping themselves to go to war with Babylon the Great, which is America. So it says, for lo, I will make thee small among the heathen and despised among men. So this is speaking to the so-called white man. When you read up, it's speaking about Esau, Edom. So the Lord said, I made thee small among the heathen. Why are they small? Because, they're an anomaly, right? They have the pale skin, the pale flesh. They have the mark of Cain, the curse of Cain, the curse known as leprosy, where the Most High stripped them of their pigment, and now, their blood show forth through their skin, which is a sign to let you know who the murderer is. Just like Cain, he put that blood on them, right? He made them red. And the word crimson, I believe, means red. And that's where you get the word crime from. So the first murderer was Cain. And the Lord put that mark on them, and they came back as Esau, Edom, the so-called white race. You see? To let us know who the murderer is, man. And you can't tell me the so-called white man is not the bloodiest group of people on the earth. They done all this bloodshed and murder all over the earth. And now all the heathens, they're starting to rise up, man. It says, for lo, I will make thee small among the heathen. So you're only 7% of the earth's population, the so-called white race as a whole. That's a small number, man. But they hold all the power. It says, and despised among men. Everybody hates the so-called white man for the most part. The Arab countries, they're chanting death to Israel and death to America. Why? Because they know that you're the devil. Verse 16, thy terribleness have deceived thee in the pride of thine heart. That's right, your terribleness have deceived you. The way you rule the earth is by terror, by your military, dropping bombs on people, sending economic hitmen, destroying economies, putting sanctions on people, tariff wars, Your terribleness have deceived you because you've been successful at doing it for decades, for centuries, at taking down other nations, And you think you're going to do the same with Iran, but that's where you're mistaken. Because once you make that move on Iran, that's your ass, man. That's why the Lord said, I have laid a snare for you, Babylon, and you're also taken. Matter of fact, Lord's will, I'm going to get that after I finish this. It says, thy terribleness have deceived thee in the pride of thine heart. And this is pride, man. Thinking that the world belongs to you. The resources of the Middle East, the resources of Africa, all over the world, you think it all belongs to you. Because you understand and know that Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, Yahweh, through Isaac, which is Yahushua in the spirit, gave you the blessing of the fatness of the earth. This is why when you was coming to this side of the world, you called it manifest destiny, because you knew it was prophecy being fulfilled, prophecy being made manifest, right? So now, you done got all your blessing already, but you still think, the whole earth belongs to you. You still think it all belongs to you, man. This is why they got the slogan at the World Economic Forum that you will own nothing and be happy. So if we, the people, don't own nothing, who's going to own anything? The rich, the Amalekites, the bankers, the billionaires, the Elon Musk, them the ones that's really going to rejoice. So it says, thy terribleness have deceived thee in the pride of thine heart, O thou that dwellest in the cliffs of the rock, which is the so-called white man, caveman. They come out of caves, the Caucasus Mountains. And it all goes back to Mount Seir, Petra, right? Thou that dwellest in the cliffs of the rock. And now they modernize their habitations, their dwellings, and they call it penthouses and skyscrapers. It's the same shit. It's just like living in a cave in a mountain. It says that holdest the height of the hill. The holdest the height of the hill, meaning what? You're above all these other nations. Because each nation is known as a mountain in the scriptures. This is why you hold a summit meeting between all these countries over here in New York City. This is how you know America holds the height of the hill. Why is it this summit over there in European countries or any other country? Why is it here in America? Because America holds the height of the hill. America is Babylon the Great. It says, though thou shouldest make thy nest as high as the eagle, I will bring thee down from thence, saith the Lord. Yeah, you made your nest high as the eagle. The eagle, they're on top of mountains. That's where they lay their eggs at, on mountaintops. So Esau's on top, man. You're on top of the world, man. You're in heaven, Lucifer. Right? So it says, also Edom shall be a desolation. Everyone that goeth by it shall be astonished and shall hiss at all the plagues thereof. That's right. Edom, once again, is the nationality of the so-called white man. So the Most High says Edom is going to be a desolation, which is going into America and Israel. right? And these European countries, they're going to get hit with missiles too. But pursuing the prophecy, America is Babylon the Great and will be destroyed worse than Sodom and Gomorrah. It's going to get completely wiped off the map. And Israel is going to get wiped off too, but it will be rebuilt by the Israelites. So it says, verse 18, as in the overthrow of Sodom and Gomorrah and the neighbor cities thereof, saith the Lord Yahweh Shemel Shah, no man shall abide there, neither shall the Son of Man dwell in it. So America will be destroyed like Sodom and Gomorrah. Why? Because America is partaking of the ways of Sodom and Gomorrah, which is what? Homosexuality, lesbianism, witchcraft, pedophilia, incest, all these different things that are prevalent here in the society were upheld back in Sodom and Gomorrah, and they got destroyed by fire. The scriptures say that Sodom and Gomorrah were set as an example unto those that after would live ungodly. So the Most High showed the world what happens when you partake of those activities. And guess what America has done? America has followed the ways of Sodom and Gomorrah. So what do you think is going to happen to America? Destruction by fire. The same thing. All right? Okay, this is Jeremiah chapter 50, verse, I'm going to start at 22. It says, a sound of battle is in the land and of great destruction. That's right, a sound of battle is in the land. We hearing the sound of battle. We hearing all these talks of Iran and Israel going to war. So that's the sound of the battle and of great destruction. How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How is Babylon become a desolation among the nations? The hammer of the whole earth is Babylon, America. America is that hammer. America has broken the earth to pieces. Anybody that didn't play ball got destroyed. They got crushed. America sent their military on them, man. Look up the Confessions of an Economic Hitman, where they go into this Edomite devil, basically tells the history of, what they do to these other countries. They identify a country that has, wealth, resources, minerals, different things underground, and they'll come there and give them a loan with an interest that's unpayable. And if the country takes it, then guess what? They trapped in that debt cycle. And when they can't pay it back, the elites come and tell them, well, you got to pay it somehow. So, you know what? Just give us this piece of land. We're going to devalue your currency and we're going to take this as collateral, And this is how they got in hold of, these different nations in Africa, throughout Asia, South America, And if the leader doesn't want to play ball, then that's when they send the military and they demonize them in the media, talking about how the people want democracy, the people are rising. They fund these different rebel groups, coup d'etats and overthrowing governments, and then, they took over the resources, man. So America is the hammer of the whole earth. So the Lord said, how is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How has Babylon become a desolation among the nations? Because America will be destroyed by nuclear fire, man. I have laid a snare for thee, and thou art also taken of Babylon, and thou wast not aware. So that snare is Iran. There's this general, I never know his name off the top, but he pretty much came out after 9/11 happened, and he gave the story of how when he was in the Pentagon, they came to him and told him, this is how we're going to take over these 7 countries over the next 5 years, And they mentioned Libya, Afghanistan, Iraq, Sudan, those countries where they already overtook, by the way of sowing mayhem, sowing, different revolts, rebel groups, terrorism, Syria is another one, and the last one that was on their list was Iran. You see? So they basically been successful. They were successful at all those other countries that was on the list, but Iran is the last one on the list, man. But guess what? That's the snare that the Lord laid for Babylon. It says, "Oh, I have laid a snare for thee, and thou art also taken of Babylon, and thou was not aware. Thou art found and also caught, because thou hast striven against the Lord." So the Most High got your ass, man. It's just like a thief, that regularly steals from this one location, this one house. Eventually, the owner, he'll get tired, and he'll set him up. Oh, you keep stealing my you keep stealing my corn? I bet. I'm gonna put this corn outside and I'm gonna lay a trap in it. And here come your ass in the middle of the night, putting your hand in that corn, and then boom, a fucking trap. Now your whole arm is caught. You can't even move. So this is what the Lord, spiritually is doing to America, man. You've been successful at stealing lands and resources, stealing, fields of, Afghanistan, and sowing the poppy fields and the oil fields and all of that. And you thinking you're going to do the same with Iran. But guess what? Iran is heavily armed. Iran is the most powerful country in the Middle East. More powerful than Israel, man. If you want to talk about nukes, then yeah, Israel has nukes. Israel has hundreds of nukes. Iran, they probably got theirs now, or, working on it. But as far as military power and capability, Iran is the greatest in the Middle East. Millions of men in their army. They could easily draw up, 3 million men. They got cities of missiles, man. Underground cities of missiles. Where a few weeks ago, they unveiled one of them, and they said for the whole year, every week we gonna unveil, for the next year or two, I think, we gonna unveil a new missile city every week. And each missile city has hundreds of missiles, man. Iran has a stockpile of over 5,000 missiles, ballistic missiles. They said that they have enough missiles to shoot at Israel 24/7 for a year straight, nonstop. You see? So the Lord ain't lying when he said he laid that snare for you, man. Because you thinking Iran is going to be the next Libya or Iraq. But that's where you're mistaken, man. Verse 25, the Lord, Yahweh Bashim Ashah, have opened his armory and have brought forth the weapons of his indignation. Yeah, so the missiles, this is all the Lord's weapons, man. The Lord's armory. Yeah, man created it, on earth. But the Most High is the one that gave men that wisdom. So this is ultimately the Lord's armies. It says, for this is the work of Yahweh Bashim Ashah of hosts in the land of the Chaldeans. Yeah, so the missiles destroying this place, this is the work of Yahweh Bashim Ashah. Just like how the Lord worked on the Egyptians, the Lord is working on Babylon as we speak, on the new Egyptians, right? Having them ensnare their own selves into their own demise, man. And it's beautiful to see. This is Ezekiel chapter 38, and I'm going to start at 1. It says, and the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against them. That's right. Gog and Magog is the land mass known as Russia today. And the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal is the man you know as Vladimir Putin. My man VP. The MVP, man. He the one that's going to pop this shit off and get Babylon off the map, man. The chief prince of Meshach and Tubal. Matter of fact, Apostle Tahar, I know he likes to go into this. The word chief in Hebrew is Ra'ash. It says head, top, summit, upper part, chief, total, some height, front, beginning, head. But Ra'ash, that's where you get the word Russia from. The chief. So it says the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal and prophesied against them. So the chief prince is Vladimir Putin. And the Lord said prophesy against them. When we speak these prophecies about the USSR, you know, you got the sign that brothers be having, USSR destroying America. Hey, man, we're not for Russia. We're for them destroying Babylon, but we're not for those people because they're Edomites as well. So we're prophesying against them. Because, yeah, America going to get wiped off the map. But guess what? Russia going to get hit with missiles too. Verse 3, and say, thus saith the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yashah power. Behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws. That's right. The Lord turned Russia back. Right? This is why they're tapping into their military industrial complex. Just in 2025 alone, they say that Russia is going to produce this year over 3,000 missiles, man. And it has NATO on high alert. They're trying to revive those military manufacturing industries they had, the supply chains, but it's impossible, man. This is why the Lord said, I have laid a snare for you, man. Not just NATO, but America as well. After World War II, they kind of dismantled their industrial capabilities, man. You know, gave it to the private sector. Lockheed Martin, DARPA, you know, all for profit. But now you got your enemies able to produce more weaponry than you could in a year. They could do that in a couple months, man. So Esau's through, man. And I will bring thee forth in order an army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. So this is going into World War III. It's going to be an epic battle, man. We're talking tanks, fighter jets, Humvees, drones. Matter of fact, speaking on drones, 70 to 80% of casualties in the Ukraine war is by drones. So that's another territory, you know, that the Russians and America's enemies is gonna tap into to bring this place down, man. Missiles, right? Helicopters, attack helicopters, all of that, man. Battleships, submarines. This is what this is going into. It says Persia. Persia is Iran. So Iran is allies with Gog and Magog, with Russia. And they just signed this treaty for the next 20 years, a defense, treaty, alliance, you know, that allows them to share military technology for Russia to supply them with weaponry and all of that, man. It says Ethiopia. Ethiopia is another one of Russia's allies, man. And Libya with them, another one that's allies with Russia. All of them with shield and helmet. And these are all strategic for that region. The Middle East, North Africa. These countries, they're all strategic regions, man. And Russia being allied with them is going to balance the scales of America and NATO fighting against Russia and Iran in them. But we know pursuing the prophecy, NATO eventually is going to turn on America. But this is what's going to balance it, because Russia alone can't take down America and NATO. Iran alone can take down America, Israel, and NATO. So this new world war, that people going to be picking sides, man. This is going to be the main power force. Russia, Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmet. Gomer and all his bands, the house of Togarmah of the north quarters and all his bands, and many people with thee. That's right. So Turkey, even though Turkey, they wishy-washy, Erdogan, that devil, he always be switching up on his allies and shit. And, they kind of at odds with Russia and Iran for what they did to Syria. How they basically funded the rebels to overtake it, and all of that. But eventually, all of that is going to get squashed, and they're going to get with Russia. Because Erdogan of Turkey, he warned Israel against attacking Iran. Erdogan said, yo, listen, Israel want to attack Iran, we could invade Israel in less than 72 hours if we wanted to. It'll only take us 3 days. So this is all prophecy, man. Right? Because when we read it, it's going into how all these nations going to come up against the mountains of Israel, which is the land of Israel. And who's backing Israel? America. So if Israel is the enemy, America will be the enemy. It says, be thou prepared and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou guard unto them. The Lord said, be thou prepared and prepare for thyself. And this is what we see. Russia's military industrial complex has been significantly increasing. From last year to this year alone, they tripled their output of tanks and missiles and all of that, man. And they're going to be the ones to supply those other countries such as North Korea. We already know Iran and other countries, Libya, and, those BRICS nations. Russia's going to be the major force, the major power to help them, with military capability. That's why it says, be thou a guard unto them. Russia tucking in Iran under the wing. Right after plans was revealed that Israel is going to strike Iran very soon, Iran went to Russia and they signed that deal. So now they got a stronger backing from Russia and with China, because they went to China. I don't know if they did the same as far as their alliance, but they're allied with Russia too. I mean, with China too. And they've been having military drills between Russia, Iran, and China. So America and Israel can't just blow up Iran and not expect a big backlash from those bigger nations. You see? So it says, verse 8, it says, after many days thou shalt be visited, and the latter years thou shalt come into the land that is brought back from the sword, and is gathered out of many people against the mountains of Israel, which have been always waste, but it is brought forth out of the nations, and they shall dwell safely, all of them. So Russia and these other countries, they're going to come up against Israel. You see, the people that's over there today, the Lord is going to use them to wipe them out of that land, to cleanse them out of that land, because that land doesn't belong to y'all, man. The Holy Land belongs to the holy people. You're not the holy people. You're the wicked people, man. The hated, the vile people. The holy people is the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. So the Lord is going to use these nations to come up against Israel, to wipe it out, to clean out those heathens out of the land. It says, thou shalt ascend and come like a storm. Thou shalt be like a cloud to cover the land. Thou and all thy bands and many people with thee. Yeah, so this is all going into World War III. Different invasions, but all the way leading up to the nuclear destruction. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahshua power. It shall come to pass at the same time shall things come into thy mind, and thou shalt think an evil thought. Yeah, so this is going to be the Lord, Yahweh Bashim Yashah, using the angels to put the spirit on Vladimir Putin to press the button. Or not press the button, but to give the order for those, military men responsible for the nukes and those submarines and those different silos and those vehicle launches from those missile trucks. Him giving them that order. You see, he's going to think an evil thought, just like Pharaoh thought an evil thought, because the Lord hardened his heart. The king's heart is in the hand of the Most High, man. So the Most High is going to put the spirit on him to do that. And thou shalt say, I will go up to the land of unwalled villages, which is America. America is unprotected. Shit, you come here to America, man, you don't even really need a fence. You don't even really need a fence. Whereas you go to these other countries, especially third world countries, motherfuckers got their shits fenced up. They got walls around their properties. Whereas America, they might have a fence, you know what I'm saying? But, this place is safe. America is so-called safe. You don't got to worry. Well, that was back in the day. But, hey, man, crime is increasing. But at one point, people, they have to sleep with their doors locked. It says, I will go to them that are arrested, dwell safely. That's America, man. All of them dwelling without walls, having neither bars nor gates. There's no protection for this place. To take a spoil and to take a prey, and to turn thine hand upon the desolate places that are now inhabited. Yeah, so in the spirit realm, on a timeline, America's already desolate. It just has to play out. So it's now inhabited, but it's going to be desolate. And upon the people that are gathered out of the nations, which have gotten cattle and goods that dwell in the midst of the land, Sheba and Dedan and the merchants of Tarshish, with all the young lions thereof, shall say unto thee, art thou come to take a spoil? Hast thou gathered thy company to take a prey, to carry away silver and gold, to take away cattle and good, and to take a great spoil? It says, therefore, son of man, prophesy and say unto Gog, thus saith the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yashah power, in that day when my people of Israel dwelleth safely, shall thou not know it, and thou shalt come from thy place out of the north parts, thou and many people with thee, all of them riding upon horses, and a great company in a mighty army. And thou shalt come up against my people of Israel as a cloud to cover the land. It shall be in the latter days, and I will bring thee against my land, that the heathen may know me, when I shall be sanctified in thee, O Gog, before their eyes. So the Most High is going to be sanctified by using Russia, to destroy America. This is how the Lord is going to get his glory upon his enemies. You see? This is Isaiah 13, and I'm going to start at 4. It says, the noise of a multitude in the mountains, like as of a great people. Now, this is going into the nukes, the different warheads, hypersonic missiles, whatever you want to call them, ballistic missiles, shooting warheads towards America. So it says the noise of a multitude in the mountains. The multitude is the 200,000 warheads spoken of in the book of Revelation, which is 200 million warheads. When they come down, as they're coming through the atmosphere, it makes a loud sound. That's why it says, like as of a great people. Just like when you read Joel, I think it says the same thing. It likens the missiles unto an army of men. It says, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together. The Lord Yahweh Bashim Yashah of hosts mustereth the hosts of the battle. So Yahweh Bashim Yashah, the Most High, and his son, the Most High through his son, are the ones that's in control of everything that's going on down here. They're in control of this coming Third World War. Verse 5, they come from a far country, from the end of heaven, even the Lord and the weapons of his indignation to destroy the whole land. That's right. So the missiles is the Lord's weaponry. And they're going to come from a far country, from the end of heaven. As it says in the book of 2nd Ezra, I think the 16th chapter, that strong is the Lord's hand that bends the bow. And his arrows that he shoots are sharp and not going to miss when they begin to be shot into the ends of the world. The arrows of the Most High is the missiles. This is how the scriptures describe the missiles, man. It's not going to say missile or warhead or none of that. They use terms that were, ancient terms, because the prophets live in ancient times. And they're back here in the flesh in the reincarnation today, and they're breaking it down to you. Letting you know that the missiles are going to be shot from the ends of heaven, man. Verse 7, it says, therefore shall all hands be faint and every man's heart shall melt. Yeah, it's going to be a terrifying thing to get to your nearest bunker because Russia, China, and America's allies shot missiles at her, man. Men's hearts are going to faint and melt. It says, they shall be afraid, and pangs and sorrows shall take hold of them. They shall be in pain as a woman that travaileth. They shall be amazed one at another. Their faces shall be as flames. So that's the missiles, man. It says, behold, the day of the Lord cometh cruel, both with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate, and he shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it. So the day of the Lord is going to be cruel. He's not going to spare old, young, women, children. The Lord doesn't care, man. When the Lord brought the flood, billions of people died, man. Old, young, man, woman, doesn't matter. The Most High doesn't see as men seeth, man. That spirit that's in these people, whether it be children, older people, women, that spirit that they have is wicked. So therefore, when the judgment comes, the Lord is not going to spare, man. So I'm going to jump down. This is verse 17. It says, behold, I will stir up the Medes against them. The Medes is the Russians, right? The Russians. And in ancient times, the Persians and the Medes are the ones that took down ancient Babylon. So guess what? The modern day Persians and the Medes, which is Iran and Russia, are going to be the ones to take down the new Babylon, which is Babylon the Great, the daughter Babylon, Mystery Babylon, America, man. So the Lord said, I will stir up the Medes against them. Russia is stirred up against this place. We shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. Their bows also shall dash the young men to pieces. The bows is going into the missiles, the different weaponry that Russia is going to use to take this place out. And they shall have no pity upon the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children. So they're not going to care, children, women. They're not going to care, man, because in war, those be the most vulnerable. So that's the course of war. Verse 18, their bows also should dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity upon the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children. And Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency, shall be as when Yahweh shall overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. That's right. America will be destroyed like Sodom and Gomorrah for partaking of those same acts. Sodom and Gomorrah got fire rained down upon them from heaven for those acts that they were doing. So America is doing the same acts, therefore will receive the same judgment. It shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. Neither shall the Arabian pitch tent there, neither shall the shepherds make their fold there. But the wild beasts of the desert shall lie there, and their houses shall be full of doleful creatures, and owls shall dwell there, and satyrs shall dance there. That's right. So America is going to get annihilated, just like Sodom and Gomorrah is still annihilated. That land is still uninhabitable, man. So this is how America is going to be. No man's land. Verse 22, and the wild beasts of the islands shall cry in their desolate houses, and dragons in their pleasant palaces, and her time is near to come, and her days shall not be prolonged. That's right. So America's days are numbered, man. This is why Edom, they're moving quickly. The scriptures say, the devil cometh down with great wrath because he knoweth he have but a short time. So he's trying to rush this new world order in because he seeth that his day is coming, man. But he's not going to be successful, man. The missiles is going to stop him, man. And Yahweh Shah returning is going to be the end of this world, man. And the beginning of the world to come, which will be ruled by the children of Israel, you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. So with that, I hope this was edifying. I'm going to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shah, Bahashem Chakodash, double honor to the apostles of GMS that give us his truth, and all the spirituality and salutations to all you Akim pushing this word throughout the four corners of the earth. Shalom.